Okay, this is the DaVinci Resolve tutorial as part of the Dig In with Tech course. DaVinci Resolve is a free open source editor. There is a premium version that you can upgrade to, but the basic version has everything you would basically want to do. I chose this program because it's freely available for all operating systems. If you're more comfortable using iMovie or you already have a video editing software that you like, you can by all means use that and ignore this. You don't have to watch this. But if you're unfamiliar with video editing and you'd like a tutorial, this is the one that I have developed for you. So first thing you're going to need to do is to go to the DaVinci Resolve site. I just searched for DaVinci Resolve. It's created by a studio called Blackmagic Design. And then you just click on download. You can choose the Studio, which is the paid version, but you probably want the DaVinci Resolve 16, which is the free version, and you can choose between your operating systems there. Once you get it installed, it asks you the first time how you want it set up, if you want it to look like iMovie or Adobe Premiere or these other things. I chose the one that was DaVinci Resolve. I've used those other programs, but it's been so long that I don't remember how they were aligned, and that's probably not even how they're set up anymore. So I picked the one that was just DaVinci Resolve if you want to also pick the same thing so yours looks exactly like mine. So when we go here and open it up, it takes a little while to open up. It's a big program, so I try to have as little else running in the background as possible when I'm doing this, because I have had it crash every once in a while, but not when I'm actively using it, just when it's been on in the background. So I keep it closed as much as I can. And close out other programs to kind of reduce bandwidth. So when you open up, when it does eventually open, you're going to want to do a new project. And I'm going to title this OBS because this is going to be we're going to edit the video that I just made for OBS. So you'll get to see that process. This is the first screen that it opens up to. I don't really remember what it's called. No. Okay. And so this is a little bit overwhelming. It's just a bunch of blank stuff. It's a little bit confusing. That's okay. The first thing we're going to want to do is get in some media, some of the recordings we've made. And so I'm going to go to File, Import Media. It's telling me that the hotkey on Mac is Command I. And so that's something I'm going to remember and use in the future to make it a little bit easier. Okay. So this is the part I recorded in OBS for Zoom, so I definitely want that. It's telling me that the clips have a different frame rate than the current project settings. I would like to change my timeline frame rate to match. Okay, so now I'm also going to import, and I'm used Command I that time, my Zoom recording that I made. So that's in Document Zoom. And then this is one of the downsides of Zoom. If you record a bunch of stuff on the same day, you have to be careful about which thing is which, but this is the one that I want. Okay. So now I'm going to drop these clips in down here on my editor, and it creates a timeline. Or not. I'm going to try that again. Yeah, I definitely want you down here. There we go. Okay. So the first thing I want to do is I want to go in, I want to cut out anything before I start talking so that that's where the video begins, and that's pretty easy to do. Up here, you drag the pointer and it goes in the direction that you drag, the sort of playhead. Down here, you drag the background against the playhead. So that took me a minute to figure out, probably longer than I'm comfortable admitting, but that was something that was the case. Okay, so I'm just going to play this. It's still probably loading and processing my clip, so it may not get going right away. It's kind of a clunky one. It takes a little bit to process that video, so you just kind of have to be patient with it. And I've actually never done this while I've been recording, so I'm probably taxing my the gerbils in my computer. If I don't want to wait around for this to play, and I definitely don't, I can kind of scooch along. It should be saying something right now, though. This isn't good. I'm not loving this. Okay. All right. It's playing now. That's good. I can see my mouth opening. I've done this enough times that I try to really limit how much I actually have to see and hear myself. So I'm going to start here. I've got this playhead positioned right where I want it. The one up here is for moving through your entire clip. So this clip is about 20 minutes. The one down here is really zoomed in on small pieces, and this is where you want to position it for those fine delineations of where your things are. Okay, now I want to trim it, and so I'm going to say trim to playhead, right? No. Here's the problem. I remember that it's Command B for this is what I want. Okay, so to cut my clip here, I'm going to go up to timeline, and razor is what I want. Okay, Command B is the shortcut, and that's definitely what I use most of the time. But when I cut it there, you'll see it splits into two pieces. And if I move this one away, you'll see there's one piece before and one piece after. The piece at the beginning is very short. And so I'm going to click on it. I can tell it's highlighted because it's red around it. I'm going to hit delete. Okay. I don't typically watch my videos. That is entirely a you choice, but I A, don't really want to spend that much time on it, and B, it's like nails on a chalkboard listening to my own stuff. I don't know how you people do it. So that's something to consider, whether you want to invest that time or not. It certainly would make it better if I paid attention to it. And I think I would probably see enough things that I wanted to redo. I would probably give it a second shot at recording, but it is what it is, right? Okay. So now on the other end of the clip, I'm going to do the same thing so that there is a, there's no like dead time at the end where I'm playing around and trying to figure out how to stop recording. So I'm going to get it close to where I think I'm done talking. Again, it's still processing this video, so it's not going to work great all at once. And I apologize for downtime in this video because of it. What we're going to do next is we're going to put in the next clip, and we're going to put a title in between it, because putting in a title might be something that you want to do. You can have titles set up so that they're their own screen and maybe have a background with them, or you can have titles set up so that they are just words over your text. Okay, and I'll show you how to do that too. It looked like it was going to work, and then it didn't. I hope you're using this time to like fiddle around with it on your own and just pop back over here when it's actually functioning. I think it's important to see the like actual like how it works and the time that it takes to do these things. I'm tempted to just pop this next clip in here, and I think I'm going to do that just to have something to do and let it start processing on that while I'm talking about other stuff. I can worry about clipping that later, actually. You've seen me clip things once. That's enough. So let's go to the screen where we can add in titles. And honestly, I looked on YouTube tutorials for this, and there are a ton of great YouTube tutorials, but it took me a long time to find the right thing that I was looking for. And so I want to go to up here where it says workspace, switch to page. Right now, I believe I'm in cut, which is what it defaults to, at least on Macs. In order to put in title screen, I need to go to one of these other ones. Is it media? Media would make sense. No, it's not media. Maybe edit. There's a lot of complexity and there's a lot of power in this program, but that means that it takes a little while to get around to places. It also means that I am once again using something that is way, way more complicated than what I actually need to do. I just want to cut some little basic video clips together. I'm not playing around with 99% of the features in here. But here we are. Let's put in a title screen. So I want to go to the break that's in between these, and I'm going to say, do I want an effects library? Yes, effects library up here. Titles are in the toolbox. And then I have a lot of different options. I could have my title in the lower third, middle third, or, oh, I guess that's left lower, middle lower, right lower. Scroll, text, etc. These are some other titles that are down here. Doesn't really matter which one I pick. I'm just gonna do text. Let's see what happens. I'm gonna drag this in. I can put it in a new layer, like a new thing, and that'll have it over the other images. I don't think, yeah, I can nestle it in between here too. You'll notice when I do that though, my audio doesn't move with it. Oh, I don't think I'm liking what's happening here. So I really probably don't want to do that. I need to unlock these now so that I can get them lined back up. And actually, I'm going to find it's easier just to undo. So edit undo is your friend. You'll notice that you use the little accent key where the tilde is just under the escape key. And I can do that enough times that that is out of the way. Okay, so DaVinci allows you to have multiple tracks, which is great if you're wanting to do some fancy editing things. For us, it's not super necessary. Most of what I want to have happen is going to happen on its own, one thing after the other in a linear fashion. This is definitely more than I need. So the way I have it set up now is this text will just be over a black background. And then it will go on to the other video clip. You can have it set up so that if these are all stacked like this, the title will be over the video that's playing. So it's up to you what you want it to do. Now that I have the title selected, it's automatically putting me to the inspector, which is what is going to, oh no, it's not automatically putting me, that closed the inspector. Okay, the inspector is what's going to allow you to edit the title. So instead of saying title, I'm going to say on to Zoom. Okay, I can change the color, size, tracking, whatever. And now if I go ahead and play this, hopefully it's rendered. Yeah, there's me making a face onto Zoom. Okay, and I can decide how long I want that to play for. And then we have the Zoom part. Okay, so I'm going to finish tidying it up. I think I'm going to edit that out, and then I'll show you how to export it. Okay, so I've switched our workspace over from the edit page where we were doing our titles, back to the cut page to finish out my editing. You don't necessarily have to do that if the last thing you're doing is putting a title in, or if you're not putting a title in at all. And so now I'm going to choose how to export. I have not figured out what export project is for. It's never done anything useful for me. I always go to quick export, and you'll notice there's a quick export button up here as well. So I'm going to click on that, and then I can choose how I want my video set up and optimized. I honestly am not sure what some of these are, but I always check the YouTube box. If I had our account signed in here, I would be able to push it directly to our studio, which is kind of a cool thing. If you're planning on using YouTube, this is a really nice feature that will allow you to just process and go through. So I'm going to go ahead and click export. I have to choose where I'm going to save it to. So this is going to be OBS 2020 0610 to post. Okay, and then it tells me about how long it will take. It usually is a little bit less time than the amount of time your video is, but it's very close. You'll see that this is 30 frames per second. That's the quality of the video clip. Every 30 seconds it shows 30 images. Or sorry, every second it shows 30 images. And it's processing a little bit slower than that, I think because I'm recording with OBS, so I'm going to knock that off. This is the downside to editing your video. It takes longer. it's not as efficient of a process to have to go in and edit. And I haven't found one yet that's faster than this. They all seem to take about the same amount of time. I was using iMovie initially and frustrated at how long it was taking. This I'm just as frustrated with. So when you're planning, if you're going to be including video editing, make sure that you are set up so that you know, okay, I'm going to have some downtime while these videos process, because the fewer processes you have running on your computer while it's doing this, the faster it's going to go. Okay, so that is the very, very brief introduction to DaVinci. I hope you found it helpful, and you can at least do some basic things like trim clips down and put in titles.